Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with words about character. Then we'll move into power, control, and influence. After that, we'll dive into feelings, moods, and mindsets, and finish up with words about measurement and time. And stick around because at the end, I'll share a great learning strategy to make it all stick. Ready? Let's jump in.
First up, words about character. These are fantastic words that help you describe what a person is really like on the inside. You know, their personality and their moral compass.
All right, in this first section, we're going to cover these 5: scrupulous, discreet, diligent, sagacious, and guile. Let's get started.
Let's start by comparing 2 different ways a person can be careful. First, we have discreet. Now, being discreet is all about being careful with secrets. A discreet manager, for example, would never talk about an employee's private problems with other coworkers. Then, we have scrupulous. This is about being careful to be honest and to do the right thing ethically. A scrupulous scientist will always report their data exactly as it is, no cheating. So remember it this way: discreet is about keeping secrets, while scrupulous is about keeping your morals straight.
Next up is diligent. A diligent person is someone who is a super careful and persistent hard worker. They don't give up. For instance, a diligent student is one who studies consistently every single day for their exam. Or a diligent detective will carefully check every single clue to solve a crime. It's all about that steady, careful effort.
Okay, here we have 2 types of intelligence. On one side, we have sagacious. This is an adjective, and it means being wise and showing really good judgment. A sagacious leader is one who makes thoughtful, smart decisions for their people. But on the other side, we have guile. Now, guile is a noun. It refers to a sneaky, dishonest kind of cleverness used to trick people. Think of a sly fox in a story. It often uses guile to fool everyone. The difference is huge. Sagacious is positive wisdom, while guile is negative trickery.
All right, moving on to our second group of words. This theme is all about power, control, and influence. These are words that help us talk about who's in charge.
Now, these 2 words sound exactly the same, but they are totally different. First, you've got rein, spelled R-E-I-N. It means to control or limit something. You know, you use reins to control a horse. But you can also rein in your spending or try to rein in your anger. Then we have reign, spelled R-E-I-G-N. This is all about royalty. It's the period of rule for a monarch, like a king or queen. You could say the reign of a famous king lasted for 40 years. So it's simple. Reign is to control, reign is to rule.
This slide tells a little story about how power can work. It often flows in these 3 steps. First, a leader might impose stringent rules. That just means they're very strict and limiting. Then, they might try to aggrandize their own position, which means they make their power and status seem even bigger and more important than it really is. And finally, what happens? People start to show them deference, which is a kind of respectful submission to their authority. So you see the flow. Strict rules can lead to more power, which can lead to others showing respect.
Okay, let's shift gears from power to feelings. Our next batch of words is all about emotions, different moods, and the general atmosphere of a place.
In this section, we're going to look at vivacious, aloof, apathy, contempt, ominous, and ambience. Let's kick things off with 2 words that are complete opposites.
So let's compare 2 very different personalities. First, you have a vivacious person. This is someone who is just full of life, super energetic and enthusiastic. You know, the life of the party. On the other hand, you can have an aloof person. This is someone who is emotionally distant, kind of reserved, and maybe seems a little cold. So vivacious is warm and full of energy, while aloof is cool and detached.
Now let's talk about apathy. This word is stronger than just being uninterested. Apathy is a complete lack of feeling or concern, especially about something important. For example, voter apathy is a huge problem when people just don't care enough to show up and vote. It suggests you should care, but you just don't.
This sentence is a perfect example of the word contempt. Contempt is a very powerful feeling that someone or something is basically worthless and deserves zero respect. In this sentence, the person shows his contempt by just ignoring the rule right in front of everyone. It's like a mix of deep disrespect and disgust.
You know that feeling you get when you see really dark, stormy clouds gathering in the sky? That feeling is the meaning of ominous. It's the sense that something bad or threatening is about to happen. You could also describe an ominous silence in a room right before bad news is delivered. It's that feeling of doom.
We're on to our final group of new words. This section is all about measurement and time. We're talking about words that describe how much of something there is and how long it lasts.
Here is a fantastic contrast in time. First, we have fleeting. Fleeting describes something that lasts for just a tiny moment. A fleeting smile or a fleeting thought. It's there and then it's gone. The complete opposite is indelible. Indelible means permanent, something that's impossible to forget or remove. Your childhood memories might leave an indelible mark on you. So fleeting is temporary, while indelible is forever.
Now, the word incidence might sound a bit scientific, but it's actually really simple. It just means how often something happens. This chart makes it super clear. Getting a cold in the winter has a high incidence. It happens a lot. But winning the lottery, that has a very, very low incidence. It's super rare. So incidence is just the formal way of talking about how frequently something occurs.
And our last word is scant. When you hear the word scant, I want you to immediately think not enough or barely any. For instance, if a report is based on scant evidence, it means there's not nearly enough proof to be convincing. Or if you have a scant amount of food left, you're almost out. Scant always implies that there's not enough of something.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today. But even more important than the words themselves is the method we use to learn them. Let's quickly go over this strategy so you can use it for all your studying.
Here it is, your path to mastering vocabulary. First, group words by a common theme, just like we did today. Second, compare them. Understand words by seeing how they are similar to or different from other words. Remember discreet versus scrupulous? That comparison makes both words clear. And third, and this is so important, always look at words in context. Seeing how a word is actually used in a sentence is the absolute best way to make it stick.